So let's look back at 2024. Let's look at some of the things that happened this year that changed the scene or changed the direction in which things were headed. And I've already looked over this whole year, and one thing that stands out, and you'll see here in a minute, is some of the fighters that we haven't heard from. They haven't fought, and they're sort of inactive, like Tanar Lisboa. I don't even think she fought in 2024. Haven't heard nothing. Now, these awards, I want to go over those real quick as well, because, of course, 2023 tells us the direction that things were going. In 2024 showed us what actually happened. For example, Tatiana Suarez in 2023, at least from WMMA rankings, won comeback of the year. Yet in 2024, we didn't hear nothing. No fight, no nothing. Going into 2024, I thought she was going to at least, I don't even think she fought once. She didn't even fight once this year. So that's too bad. The inactivity from her is too bad. As well as Tanar Lisboa. Grazo was on top at the end of last year. She won Fighter of the Year from multiple outlets. I'm talking Alexa Grasso. Real good year last year. But in 2024, she lost the belt. And now she's currently fighting without a belt. We'll see if she can have a significant win in 2025. But 2023 was Grazo's year. Yan Xiaonan got what she was asking for this year after winning knockout of the year against Andrade. And after this fight, she got a title shot and got whooped. Got stopped twice legitimately in that fight. So Jan's momentum, and let me say too, Wei Li's doing better than any of the other champions. She's doing better than Shevchenko. She's doing better than Juliana Pena. They ain't even done nothing. So, Wei Li is probably fighter of the year. Well, no, I won't say that. Probably Dakota. I'd say Dakota is probably fighter of the year for 2024. Lupi Godinez. Did she even fight this year? I don't even think she fought. She was looking good going into 2024. But, and I actually think she lost. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Wow. She had 2 back-to-back losses this year. So that's a good example of what I was talking about. Lupi had an excellent year in 2023. She fought 4 times and won all 4 fights. She was on a 4-fight win streak And in 2024, lost all that. You know, I see this a lot. It's like they get burned out. When fighters get on a win streak, it's like they get burned out. And eventually they go in there looking to lose. You know, they'll go in there and won't look themselves at all. But that's interesting. That's interesting. How she had such a good year last year and now is on a 2-fight losing streak for Lupe Godinez. Fight of the year last year, Irene Aldana against Kale Rosa. That fight is worth watching again. And remember, that went down in December of last year. It really is worth watching again. That's one of the best fights in WMMA history. WMMA history. And fights like that sort of tells me that they'll be able to retire from the UFC. I don't think the UFC will ever cut them. Sort of like with Angela Hill. I don't think they'll ever cut Angela Hill. Erin Blanchfield was on fire. She lost her momentum. And people forgot about Lipski, or Ariane Lipski. I forgot her. De Silva. People forgot that she was on fire last year. And they gave her Most Improved Fighter of the Year. She had switched gyms. And she was looking good. So Karine Silva fought probably the best version of Ariane. Now on to 2024. What happened to Jacqueline Amorim? I don't even think she had a fight. She was looking good. I mean, she looked good in this fight. She has lost, but I think she only got one loss, and that's to Sam Hughes. Right? But Jacqueline Amorim, let me see here. I think she had one fight last year. 2 fights, and she won both of them. Corey McKenna, Vanessa Demopoulos. Okay. Not last year. Did I say last year? This year. So she on fire. She fights at 115. And people, let me say, I think she's better on the ground than Mackenzie Dern. She's one of the best on the ground. Her jiu-jitsu, like, I just think she's better than Mackenzie Dern. She's more dangerous. She's more likely to submit you, I think, than Mackenzie Dern. So definitely look out for her. Jacqueline Amorim. Somebody's going to have to put a stop to her and put out the blueprint. The blueprint on her, or else she's gonna be difficult. And remember, her striking looks improved. She's not just a garbage striker. At least I don't think so. In 2024, earlier March of this year, Rose defeated Amanda Ribas. Then she went on to what? Lose to Erin Blanchfield. Right? Jermaine retired. And I think this was the fight that retired her. In 2024, we had Nora stop Melissa Dixon. If I remember She got kicked in the stomach or something. She took a knee to the body and got stopped. It was either a kick or a knee to the body. Also, and I predicted this before the fight, or I don't think I did, but I did mention it. I said, can Lipski make Silva look human? Up until this fight in the UFC, Silva was looking sort of superhuman. I don't care about the flaws that people saw in her. There are flaws in all these fighters. I mean, like, obvious flaws in all of them. It's all a matter of how strong is your strengths and how much does your strength outweigh your flaws. One of my favorite fighters outside the UFC, Stamp Fairtex. If I'm not mistaken, right, she beat Denise Zambawanga again. I think that was a rematch. And it's too bad fighters like Stamp will never fight in the UFC. We need all the best fighters to just fight, if you ask me. Fight each other somehow, some way. Also, 2024, Joanna got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And the more Joanna, like, you don't appreciate things till they're gone. And I feel like Joanna did a real good job as a champion. She did a lot in her career that other fighters can learn from. There's a wealth of things to learn from Joanna, in my opinion. Takedown defense, Billy get back to her feet. Early on, she had pretty good pop, and that's another thing. There are too many fighters who don't have power. Like Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick frustrates me because that girl has absolutely no power at all. At all. She has never even stunned one of her opponents. I don't think she has ever even hit one of her opponents and caused them to lose their legs. So frustrating. And that's the only frustrating thing about her. At least for me. A lot of people think Miranda is overrated. But I don't know about that. Because it seemed like she struggles to make it up the rankings. Right? Wow, that's interesting. Going into 2024, these were the champions. Weili Zhang. And I think I asked who would still be champion at the end of the year. I had a couple people say Weili Zhang. Right? I asked something like that. Like, which champion will hold on to their belt? And it looks like Grasso lost hers. Rocky lost hers. Weili kept hers. Weili's still one of my favorite fighters. She is one of my favorite fighters. You can always depend on her. Another thing, all that waiting and waiting and waiting. Girls, y'all got to stop that. Stop it. Stop it. I was watching that fight between Jennifer Maia and Talita Bernardo a couple days ago. Lord, Jennifer Maia looked horrible in that fight. I thought she looked horrible. Okay, I don't like her at Bantamweight. I'm not digging, or at least that fight. Y'all got to stop all that waiting, man. Stop it. Stop it. You already don't got that much power. The last thing you need to be doing is just staring at each other. Having a staring contest. Y'all better get out there and throw some leather. Let them shots fly. Stop playing around. Okay? You spend all this time training. Show us. Show us some of that training. You don't go and train and stare at your mitts, stare at the heavy bag. Okay, y'all cut that out. Josiane Nunes fell off the face of the earth. She is one of the few fighters with power. And I consider all fighters with power a serious threat. Macy Chiasson actually has pretty good power. A lot of the bantamweights, of course, got good power. But Josiane fell off. She lost to Chandler. And who was this? Yeah, Jacqueline Amorim. Okay. We had Lucindo defeat Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And I think Carolina is about to transition into OnlyFans. She's been hanging out with Paige Van Zandt. And here recently you've been seeing Carolina's cake. You've been seeing her peach on social media. Right? Eduardo Mora lost to Denise Gomez, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, this is a sick submission. Okay, I can't play it. Boy, the UFC, they be all over me. Can't play that. So that was kind of gangster. Kianzad was stopped. She was actually stopped. Okay. Did Chris Cyborg defeated Larissa Pacheco. Oh, and I remember Ketlin Vieira accused Kayla Harrison of running away from both of them. And that was something funny that happened this year. Rose defeated Amanda Ribas and I think Tracy Cortez this year. This was not a memorable. I don't even remember this fight. I don't even think I watched that fight. I don't think this fight had, or maybe, yeah, it did. And I think Santos stopped her, right? Let's look. Manon Fior. Okay, what happened? Okay, here we go. Okay, it's later on in the year. Okay, Nora. What? Did she really fight this year? Yeah, I guess she did. Why does it seem like her last fight was like 2 or 3 years ago? Cynthia Calvillo. A lot of people was wondering if she had lip injections. And I was one of them. I'm looking at her. I'm like, what the? She looks a lot different. Put it like that. I don't think she needed lip injections, though. I don't know if she actually got it, but I was thinking that she did. And that was strange. And the PFL was smoking hot. The PFL was on fire this year. In fact, probably Fighter of the Year and Breakthrough Fighter of the Year should be Dakota. Because listen, man, I thought Dakota was almost like a joke. I mean, she was joke status, in my opinion, until she beat Santos. Like, man, you fighting PFL fighters, and these fighters are low caliber. So I was shocked. I was shocked at what she did to Taylor Santos. A lot of people say Santos was compromised. We'll see. We'll see. She's still young. There's no telling what's going to happen. But I think she'll suffer her first loss in the UFC. I mean, not the UFC, PFL. Talking about Dakota. I think they're going to do everything they can to try to keep her at PFL and give her good fights. And why would she care about fighting in the UFC if she's living well? She's living well, and I think if they give her decent fighters, maybe this undefeated, like that other girl from PFL Europe, I think she's 6-0, she'll be satisfied. She shouldn't be in a rush to go to the UFC and start taking L's. There's just some fights we'll probably never see. Norma Dumont. What has she been doing? She defeated, Jermaine Durand to me. And I think that was her last fight. Don't know what she's doing out here in these streets. I think Kayla Harrison, did she make her, wait a minute. Yep. She made her UFC debut in 2024. And she's about to have a title fight. She's going to fight for the belt early 2025. So she's making some noise. But as we're about to see, she was challenged. Oh, she was challenged this year. I mean, she wiped the floor with Holly Holm. Right, granted, gotta give her that. But her subsequent victory was kind of lackluster. Or at least, according to her, she was real disappointed. I thought she was challenged, but we'll see how that works out for her. She seems like a perfectionist. But it seems like if she's not perfect, she'll have a mental breakdown. Kayla Harrison. So hopefully it's not that bad. Okay, what is this? Okay. And was there some smack talk this year? Oh, this is another one. Remember this? How many of y'all remember this? Oh, let's go over. Tatiana Suarez this year. No, this was said in April 18th. This was posted. She said, I think I'm going to be champ by this time next year. I don't even care if they have me fight like Verna. I think that would be a great fight, to be honest. I wouldn't mind. I'm not one of these people who's like, I deserve things. I don't mind fighting Verna for that spot because she just came off a win. If anything, I should fight Verna, and then the winner should fight Weili Zhang. If that's what they want to do, if they want to give me the title shot, I'm up for that too. I don't mind it either way. Now, she made a prediction. She said I'll be champion this time next year. And it looks like she's about to get that title shot around the time she predicted. January, February, March. I think March, April. The fight is set for March or April, right? So we'll see. That might have been a premonition. We are about to see Tatiana, but you got a tough task up against you. At the very least, none of Suarez's previous opponents was anything like Weili Zhang at all. None of her previous opponents. So I think it's an uphill battle for her. This was nice. I appreciated this exchange. Ketlin said, a girl who just got here wants to have some privileges. It can't be like that, you know. There are other people who deserve it. She just left an event after running away from Larissa Pacheco and Chris Cyborg. She talks a lot and runs away. She wants the fights that are convenient for her. Go ahead, Ketlin. That was a good dust up. You know, she went right after Kayla. Not playing no games. Tisha Torres retired in 2024. And she had 2 fights in 2024. Fought Tabitha Ricci and she fought Carla Esparza. Chelsea Hackett. That was this year. Andrea Lee just fell off the map. Right? Chanel Dyer supposed to have a fight here recently. I think she had to pull off because of injury. I forgot this fight. Liang Na da da da. Okay. I don't even remember that fight. Oh, I do remember this chick. Ivana Petrovic. I remember her. And I think that was her last fight. Ketlin Souza won. And she looked good in that fight. She looked good in that fight. So did Melissa Gatto. That was kind of surprising. Remember, she fought at Bantamweight. Gatto fought at Bantamweight and looked pretty good. Okay. What else happened? Barboza. Barboza lost to Miranda Maverick. Now, Maverick might not have no power, but she is like, she'll walk forward on a fighter who has more power. She don't have no power, but she's confident in what amount of power she has. Because you remember that fight, who was she fighting? Priscilla Cachoeira, who hits way harder than Miranda. That was Miranda's best performance. Her fight against Priscilla Cachoeira, that was her best performance, I think, in her career. Remember, she got a stoppage in that fight. But you go back and watch that fight. When the fight started, Miranda was walking forward, like trying to walk her down. I was surprised and I'm like, whoa. So yeah, she don't have no power, but Miranda's kind of crazy. She's kind of crazy. Lemos was stopped by Verna. Verna kind of sort of cemented her title shot. That's kind of crazy for Wei Li. She's about to fight potentially back-to-back 2 ground fighters. Tatiana Suarez and then Verna. So it was smart for her to, step up her ground game, improve her ground game like she did. Now, yeah, I'm ready to see. I want to see what's going to happen there. I want to see, what Suarez is able to do. Because Wei Li is more athletic than Suarez. She's more athletic. But Suarez is a skilled wrestler. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Molly, I think she lost. She got smacked around this year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Luciendo defeated 2 fighters. 2 fighters this year. I forgot about that. Rodriguez and who was it? Carolina Kowalkiewicz. Uh, yeah, I remember this. Molly McCann is so cringe that Bruna Brazil had to lighten the mood, during the face-off. Alexa Grasso is still the only fighter to have a belt made just for her. This is a strange part of history right here because she was on the website with this belt as well. Will that ever happen again? Will the UFC make a customized Kyrgyzstan UFC belt? That was strange. But it wasn't the UFC's idea, from what I understand. Down there, they made it in Mexico. And UFC just adopted it, from what I remember. Shanna Bannon defeated somebody low tier. Bruna Brazil. Has she lost yet? Wait a minute. We're about to see. I think she might be undefeated, right? No, she's not. Okay, she doesn't have maybe she has a Sherdog. Why am I'm thinking she lost to Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes has beaten everybody. Seems like. Everybody got a loss to Sam Hughes. Okay, she's 10-4. She lost two fights. 2 fights in the UFC. Who is this? This is that Indian. Right? What happened to her? What happened to that Indian girl? No. That's Loma. I forgot that's Loma's real name. Why are they using that real? Why are they using the real name? Okay. If I'm not mistaken, right? Who is that? Conklack? I think that's Loma, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, my browser's freezing up. It's Sherdog. That's why I don't like using Sherdog. Yeah, that's Loma. For whatever reason, they use her real name in there. Loma look boomy. I don't know. What is that? Like a surname or something? Her English name or something? So we'll see what happens. If I'm not mistaken, she's young. There's a lot of young fighters. That's the thing. A whole lot of young fighters. They might be something totally different 2-3 years from now. 4 or 5 years from now. Taylor Santos defeated Liz Carmouche this year. So she was looking good. I do remember that. Victoria Dudakova. I think she lost to Sam Hughes, right? Right. Let's look at the results here. Carla retired. Yes. Yeah. Sam Hughes won. She won her fight. Oh boy. Who is this? Do y'all remember her? Do y'all remember this woman? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. Natasha. Don't know how to pronounce her last name. Okay. Okay. That was this year. And this year, that was the first time I ever seen her. She stood out. She stood out. She has a memorable face, right? Uh, Elise Reed retired Jessica Panay. Beat her up bad. Just beat her face bad. It was another fight where Jessica Panay just got beaten on the whole fight. So I'm glad she retired. I'm glad Jessica retired. You can't keep taking punishment like anyways. And if you getting beaten up, boxed up by Elise Reed, I mean, that's no disrespect to Elise Reed, but man, yeah, it's time to hang him up. Time to hang him up. Oh yeah. This was also the year Chelsea Chandler missed weight. Missed weight and then lost. Lost to Yana Kunitskaya. Everybody was rooting for Yana in that fight. I think Melissa Mullins won that fight, right? Oh, this chick. We only saw her once. So next year, expect to see her again. The babyface girl. What was her name? Stephanie Luciano. I mean, she landed. This is a classic beatdown. She landed like 3 consecutive flying knees. I'd never seen that before in WMMA. I've never seen that. And they landed flush. Just 3 consecutive flying knees. Cracked that girl's head. That was a good performance. And if I'm not mistaken, she's young also. Yes, Carol Rosa came out on top as well. That was funny. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ariane, oh, I forgot about that fight. She did fight Jasmine Jesuda Vicious. Yeah, I picked Jasmine in that fight too. And yeah, that was an easy fight to predict. Casey O'Neill fell off basically. She made a comeback, then fell off. Got submitted. Wait a minute. Okay, did she lose? Okay, yeah, but she beat Santos. So that was a good look for her. That was a good look for Casey O'Neill. What division? Yeah, that was at flyweight. Yeah. Santos went down in 2024 to flyweight. Forgot about that. Forgot all about that. What in the world is this? Garcia. I forgot all about her. Cavalcante had a good performance against Nunes. Green Silva lost to Viviani. And I actually thought she won that fight. Thought she won that fight. And wait a minute, what? Wait a minute. They're okay. They're about to fight again. And they fought in August? Was that in August? That was December. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. I must have got called off or something. But they're about to fight again. I think this is the rematch. Did they fight again? I don't even remember, man. I thought they was about to fight again. We're about to find out. Wang Kong defeated Victoria, right? Yeah, Leonardo easy fight. And she was making noise because of her promotion. She's crashing out. She was the crash out. She's one of the crash outs. She crashed out for real. Okay? And what I mean by crash out is doing the stuff she was doing. You want to paint your face. You want to mock your opponents. Look, most girls don't do that. That's what it boiled down to. So when you do that, you make yourself a target. You're like, hey, all eyes on me. Look at me. Look at me. Okay, we're looking at you. But you better not make a fool of yourself. You know? If you're going to do that, you better make sure you just invincible almost. But she won this fight. And that was actually a historic knockout. Because it's like the only one-punch knockout that I can remember in WMMA. One-punch knockout. Real rare. Very rare. What in the world? Right. Yeah, that was funny. Okay, wait a minute. Shi Ming. Wait a minute. I thought this was the doctor. Wasn't this the doctor who got a head kick knockout? Get out of here. I didn't know she fought twice this year, though. Okay. That might not be her. I think Cavalcante fought twice, if I'm not mistaken. Natalia Silva defeated Jessica Andrade. Andrade looks sad right here. Like she want to cry. She need to retire. She need to retire. I think Andrade, she looked like that because she's just tired of fighting. She fight because she has to. Hopefully she still got it. Yeah, that was Shi Ming. Okay, so she fought twice this year. Okay. Another thing, people's talking about how she's a doctor. And they're saying, well, if you're a doctor, why would you be a UFC fighter? Well, apparently doctors don't make that much money over there, which is crazy. You better move to the States. They make a lot of money here. She could move to the United States and stop fighting if she wanted. That's crazy. She a doctor. And it seems like she fights to supplement her income. That's crazy. Has some Contender Series action going on there. This was a good fight right here. It was a classic. Jocelyn Edwards against Tamaris Vidal. I thought that was Jocelyn's best performance, if I remember correctly. Best performance, 2024. Hey, that was surprising too. She's like noticeably taller. Silva's bigger than she looks. She's bigger than she looks. Or at least for me. I always assume she's going to be smaller compared to her opponents than she actually is. Okay, early. Okay, what is this? Speaking of Natalia Silva, I'm disappointed. These girls, they want to call everybody else's name except for Natalia Silva. Y'all want to call out this girl. You want to call out that girl. Nobody has called out Natalia Silva. What's the problem? Y'all gonna have to snap out of that. Come on now. She's named. She's number 5, I think, at the moment. I think she's currently number 5. But y'all scared. Y'all looking scared, man. Y'all better stop ignoring that girl. She might get the belt. Then what you gonna do? I think Ketlin Souza stopped Yasmin Jauregui. I think she stopped her, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yep. Knocked her out. Yasmin got a glass chin. I think that was also revealed this year. She got a glass jaw. Okay, what in the world? Is that Norma? Yeah, Norma. She dominated Irene Aldana. I mean, it was a decent fight, but man, she put a number on Aldana. I want to see Norma fight for the strap. She need to be in the discussions, man. She's not talked about enough. And of course, Shevchenko she got her belt back. Got her belt back after a lopsided decision over Alexa Grasso. Now, a lot of people thought the fight was lackluster and boring because of the lay and pray, but she most definitely won the fight. Alexa Grasso almost looked high in the fight. She almost looked high. Yeah. She was scheduled. Suarez was scheduled to fight Verna. It never went down. All right. This is a lot of showboating. What happened in that fight? Oh, she knocked her out. Oh, is that the same chick? Alexi Theonara. No, it's Chanel Dyer. Okay, what happened in that fight? Chanel, is she 23? That's crazy. Y'all expect to see a whole lot more from her too. Chanel got power in her fist and legs, obviously. Anybody can get a head kick knockout. But to be that young and to have power like that, yeah, don't be surprised if you hear a lot more from her in the future. The Corey McKenna, Julia Palastri won that fight. And then they cut Corey McKenna after that fight. I do remember that. And before this fight went down, I knew Nora was going to lose this fight because of her composure during this face-off. You could tell that Nora had lost sleep. You could tell that Nora had been seeing Cavalcante in her dreams. Everywhere she looked, all day, Cavalcante was going through this girl's mind. That's why she just lost her composure at the face. Why? Because that's her only loss. That was tremendous pressure on Nora. I don't think she was ready for this. I think it was her second fight in the UFC. They shouldn't have done that. I don't think they should have done that. And of course, UFC, they do things like that. They don't really manage these fighters that well, their career that well. So up until this fight, Cavalcante was her only loss. And after the fight, she's still her only loss, only in 2 different fights. And this was also the fight where Aileen Perez stuck her butt in the girl's face, twerked on her face after the fight. Okay. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Kayla Harrison had a knot, had a nice sized knot on her head, right? She wasn't too happy about that performance. She better take it easy, man. Stop being so hard on herself. She's gonna lose it during the fight one of these days. During the fight, she's gonna go into depression and clock out during the fight. She better be careful with that. I don't even remember this chick. Palastri. Okay, she fought twice this year. No. She's only had 1 UFC fight, if I'm not mistaken. One fight. Yeah, that was funny. Okay. Then oh yeah, she's calling her out. And when was that? October. Okay. Okay, yeah, they rescheduled it. That's too bad. That's alright, Verna. They shouldn't give Verna any more fights. Just let her sit, let her wait. If that's what she want to do. If she wants a fight, go ahead and give it to her. But I'd give her the option, because strawweight, yeah, like officially lost title contenders, or like officially. I remember this too, where they made a list of the atom weights. And remember, this year, 2024, Dana said that they're gonna, they've been talking about it. He said he's considering it or something, right?
That division isn't strong enough to actually build right now. But it's something that we're looking at, working on, and figuring out the possibilities, I guess I would say.
Okay. But don't put stamp up there. Those one fighters, they are not coming to the UFC. I don't think that's going to happen at all. One is is Asia's version of the UFC. Them fighters ain't going nowhere. Plus, they probably get sponsors and side money, and it works out. Probably they get paid just as much, maybe. Who knows? Okay. Jamie Lynn Horth. Okay, so she went on to lose. Okay, I thought she lost. So she won one and then lost one in 2024. That, who is it? Ivana Petrovic. Won one and lost one. And she was one of those new signees, recently signed UFC. Aaron called out Alexa Grasso after she defeated Rose Namajunas, right? Yes. Yes. She called out, and I think they're making that fight. Behind the scenes, I think they're making that fight. They're about to arrange that fight. We'll see what happens. Should be a fun fight. Aaron makes her opponents fight. She makes them fight. That's why she's like a keeper. I don't think UFC is going to get rid of her either. Raggedy punches, but she's not sitting there staring at you. Okay, February. Okay. Are they giving Macy a shot? They're giving Macy a shot. I can feel that. It's going to get harder for Macy to make weight. Oh, yeah. She's getting up there in age, if I'm not mistaken. Montana De La Rosa. Really? Okay. Okay. That flyweight? Okay. Who is this? Okay, it's that chick. Known. Boy, what are they doing? They need to hurry up and announce this fight. I'm with Benone now. What's the hold up, man? Come on, man. It's the end of December. At least let us know something. Give us an update. Something. Dang. Pinheiro got washed by Jillian Robertson. Got washed and stopped. Denise Gomez boxed up Carolina. Sad fight. I think this was a promo. That fight happened, I think, in 2022. Right? And Ayaka Hamasaki almost snapped this girl's arm. And this was one of the harder fights to watch, or harder submissions to watch. You can see the still right here. Okay, what was that girl thinking? She should have tapped a lot sooner. Lord. Heavyweights. I'm behind the heavyweights. And Eduardo Mora is back in the winning column with, I think, a good victory, a big victory. Because I feel like her opponent was a good opponent. That's a good win for Mora. Because, she had lost earlier that year. So good for her. And Mayra Bueno Silva's going back down to flyweight, which I don't think that's a good idea. You want to go back down in your later years? She ain't going to have no power. I mean, she is kind of chunky at Bantamweight, but Father Time, it gets harder. Especially she went to Bantamweight and she's kept that weight on her for a while without taking it off. So We'll see what happens. This should be a crazy fight. Because Julia is going to try to take Cavalcanti down. I don't think she's going to try to strike with her. She's going to try to take her down. I don't know how that's going to work out. One of the better bantamweight fights they scheduled. And of course, Wayne Kong got a reality check. And before that fight happened, I said, that's a bad fight for Wayne Kong. A bad fight. And it turned out to be just that. A bad fight. This girl was a lot taller. That was kind of ridiculous. How are they in the same division? That's crazy. Strange year. Jan beat up poor Tabitha Ricci. Poor girl. Horrible head kick knockout. Wayne Kong, that was a horrible loss for Wayne Kong because it was not a wrestling match. It was where she wanted it. On the feet. And she got rocked on the feet. Whole lot to think about. I'm sure she thought her first loss would come from a wrestler, grappler. It turned out she has a stiff head. She don't move her head. Her head is like fixed right there on center line. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem for Wayne Kong. You better address that right now. ASAP. Or else it's going to bite her in the butt again. Yeah, that's what I thought. And this is scheduled for wait a minute. So this fight what? Didn't this get rescheduled? Okay, this is ridiculous. Wait a minute here. Yeah, got rescheduled. So it was set for December 14th at first. Now rescheduled, I think January 11th. Yeah, January 11th. Originally scheduled for December 14th. The rematch. I knew something was wrong there. In Dakota. And I think this was an atomweight bout, right? Yeah. And this is another fighter that UFC will probably not get. So even if they open the division, they're going to have to do a lot to populate it. The atomweight division. Because most the atomweights, they won't be available. Or at least the big name atomweights are going to be available. You have to get them all from Invicta. All right? So we'll see how that works out. I think she undefeated, right? Yeah, she's undefeated. Look at the WMMA rankings. Look at the photos they chose. uh, and that's got February. Okay, February, January, February, March, April. So not quite April. So not quite April, but it's close enough. February 2025. Let's see if Suarez can keep her word. She said she's gonna take the belt. Okay. March. I think Molly should win that fight. She should defeat Stella Nunes. And again, Miranda Maverick has no power. Miranda got to sit down on her shots. Try to hurt somebody. Try to hurt somebody. You know, a lot of times she don't sit down on her shots. So she can't throw with power. I'd like to see her do that someday. Yeah, because man, and again, this is a horrible fight. Horrible fight, man. It was hard to watch. It was hard to get through that fight. I had to speed it up. And I haven't watched any film on this, but apparently she signed to the UFC at Bantamweight, in the Bantamweight division. 6-0. What is this, Alex Pereira's sister or something? Elise Pereira, 6-0, with 5 finishes. And I haven't even watched any of her fights. So I got a lot of catching up to do. Hopefully she don't become another statistic. And it's funny how before the fight, Bruce Buffer or whoever does the announcements, they'll always point out if a fighter is undefeated. Uh-oh. Have y'all noticed that? If you're undefeated, they'll say it when they introduce you, because they're using it to promote you. Just like I've been saying forever. It's always used as a way to promote the fighters and promote yourself. But these fighters, I think they need more discipline. I don't know what their discipline level is, but I always assume that it could be better. You know what I'm saying? Because the way they come in and they look so different, like they lack consistency. I always think that that's because of a lack of discipline. Lack of discipline. So they need more discipline. And they just need to be meaner. I thought 2024 was kind of bland in terms of tenacity. You know, they got to get back to being aggressive. It's crucial with women fights. A lot of times women, when they're in there, they don't want to get hit. They just don't want to get banged up and bruised up on that night. They don't want no busted face. They don't want no busted nothing. They do that sometimes. Like they'll come into the fight with the mentality of like, I want to stay pretty. I don't want to look like the elephant man tonight. You remember Rose actually said it. And you remember what else Rose said, right? She said, I didn't want to get my face banged up tonight. And she said, I felt like Carla didn't want to get her face banged up either. I guess Carla had a wedding or something was going on. And that was one of the worst fights ever. All because they had in their mind, or at least Rose did, I don't want to take no damage. That can ruin the fight. You don't go into the fight, expecting to take damage. It's really not something you're supposed to think about. That shouldn't be running through your head. I don't want to take damage tonight. So I feel like, and I've always felt like this, a lot of times the female fighters, are not in the right state of mind before the fight. It seems like right before the fight, a lot of times, their mind is not in the right place. They don't have the right energy or demeanor. A lot of times they seem nervous, like real nervous. So I think the most improvement's gonna come from like their mentality, their mental game. That's what I'm looking for. The phrase I'm looking for. Their mental game. Y'all remember Joanna used to talk about her mental game. It's crucial. Crucial to have your mind on point. Her mental game was so on point, she almost destroyed her body. When she fought Rose the first time, she almost killed herself during that weight cut. It was a bad weight cut. But she made weight. And stayed disciplined. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully 2024 or 2025 is better than 2024. I didn't think 2024 was that exciting. I didn't think it was all that exciting. So, fingers crossed for next year, and I'll leave it there.